Lesson 1D, Practicing with Words. This uses Worksheet 3, which you can find in the forum under the lessons. I'm going to start by showing you the letter P, which we haven't done before, but we have learned all of the strokes needed to make the letter P, which is basically just your full pressure stroke, as well as your pressure and release stroke that you learned for the letter N. The correct way to form the letter P for copperplate is to have the descender go about 2/3 of the way down to the bottom line. However, I like to do little variations every now and again, go all the way to the bottom. Don't tell the calligraphy police. But if you're doing formal copperplate, the correct way to do that is to go 2/3 of the way down. I'm not crazy about this letter P, but I'm using it because it uses the strokes we've already learned, and it will expand the number of words that we can practice with the letters we've already used. In future lessons, I'll go over the letter P again, and I'll show you different variation using loops and a little bit of curve. But this is the formal copperplate P. You can also see the connectors for this P, which is the lead-in stroke, and then the exit stroke. You can see that lead-in stroke is a hairline stroke. You use it for the majority of your letters. It just goes up from the baseline. And then again, when you exit, it will go up. And this will be the stroke that you use to connect most of your letters. There's a lot to learn about connections and spacing, and I suggest reviewing Mastering Copperplate Calligraphy with Eleanor Winters because she goes into the rules in detail. However, instead of trying to show you each connection and explain all of the rules, I find it's easier just to practice and go over some words and really learn how the letters interact with each other. But the basic rule to follow is that the space between the letters in a word is visually equal to the space inside the letters, which sounds really confusing, but if you look at these letters here, and the width of the U and the O and the N and the P, those are about equally spaced, and that's the space that you want. But if you look at the M, it's much wider, and you don't want that wide of a space in between your letters. The exception to this is if you're doing contemporary or modern calligraphy, which really you can do any type of spacing that you want. You can do very narrow, very wide spaced, or a combination of the two. But in formal copperplate, there is a method to the madness. And copperplate looks like a running hand, which is a script that's written without lifting your pen from the paper, but as you can see, it's really not. You must lift your pen in between each letter, as well as when you're forming the letters. So consistency will be key here in trying to make your words look fluid and as if you haven't lifted your pen in between each letter. The letter connections, as I said, are basically done with that hairline stroke in between each one, and then also a hairline exit. The O is one little exception, as you can see there. It does have a hairline stroke, but it needs to curl around and come down before you can go to the next letter. Yeah, so I think practicing with words is the best way to get the hang of it. If you have any questions, let me know. In our next lesson, we're going to go over D, T, I, V, and W. Thanks for watching.